Okay, first we're going to start off with the Unit 5 test review. On this video we are going to review numbers 1 through 12. We will do a separate video for the second piece to the review. Remember, your test is Wednesday. It is over triangles, quadrilaterals, finding the missing angle in both, and being able to look for an angle. Also coordinate graphing. Okay, so number 1 says, in a quadrilateral, the sum of all the angles equal. Well, remember, quadrilateral, quad means 4, so we know that a quadrilateral equals 360 degrees when we add all the angles up. So sum of all the angles, that's what they're looking for, is exactly what we write on all of our papers when we are looking for missing angles. Quad equals 360 degrees. So when we have a quad or a four-sided shape, when we add up all the angles, it should equal 360. In a triangle, the sum of all the angles equal. Okay, same thing. This is why we write our reminder every time we see it. Triangle, when we add all the angles, it should equal 180 degrees. Number 3, find the measure of the angle x in each figure. So we're not going to use our protractor because if you notice, they already give us a degree here. They give us a degree here. That little box, remember, means 90 degrees. My reminder, triangle equals 180 degrees. That means total. So the first thing we need to do is figure out what they give us. They give us 90 and they give us 25. So we're going to add 90 and 25. We have 115, but we need a total of 180. So I'm going to take 180, subtract the 115, and I'm left with 65. So what I was looking for was 90 plus 25 plus x, the missing angle, needs to equal 180 degrees. When I did all that, x, or my missing angle, equals 65 degrees, meaning this angle right here is 65 degrees. Now we know 65 is an acute angle, so I look at my angle right here. Yes, that's acute, so that would be your reasonable answer. For the next one, notice it's 1, 2, 3, 4-sided. So if we have a 4-sided, this is a quadrilateral, and we know that a quadrilateral total angles are 360 degrees. So let's look at what they give us. They give us a 90 degree, 105, and a 50 degree. So we first need to figure out how much we have, and we need this angle right here. And we know that when we add it all up, it needs to add up to 360 degrees. So I'm going to add up what they give me. I have 105 plus 90 plus 50. I have already in here 245, but I need 360 degrees. So I'm going to subtract the 245. My answer is 115. What does that mean? That is my missing angle, that x is 115 degrees. 115 degrees is obtuse, it's more than 90. I look at my angle, and yes, that's reasonable, that is an obtuse angle. Look at number 4. Number 4 specifically does say, use the protractor to measure. Now there was a bit of an issue with this problem because if you used your protractor for the angle that they gave us, the 70, and I lined it up, it actually is very close to the 80. However, let's go off of what they said with the 70. They're saying this is a 70-degree angle, so we'll just believe them. We're going to go ahead and line up our protractor. This time my baseline is running this way, pointed at the 0, so I'm looking at the inside numbers. I follow it around. Here's my other line, and that's really close to 60. I'm going to go ahead and round to 60, because at this point I can take what I have and calculate what I'm missing, because what I know is a triangle should equal 180 degrees. So that means 60 plus 70 plus x should equal 180 degrees. So I'm going to take what I have, 70 and 60, add them together, I get 130. That's what I have. But I need 180, so I'm going to start with 180, subtract what I already have, and find out what I need. I need 50-degree angle to total 180. So that problem was a little bit difficult because this was not measured right to begin with, which then throws the rest of the measurements off. But when we round, we can go ahead and get a solid number, as long as they all add up to 180. The three measures from problem 4 together, 180 degrees. When we go to number 6, find the missing angle measured in each triangle below. Okay, so the first triangle, what I notice is these 3 lines. These 3 lines mean that these 3 sides are the same. So all sides are the same or congruent. If all sides are congruent, that means this is an equilateral triangle. Well, what do we know about an equilateral triangle? And we could actually say this is an acute equilateral. How am I going to find my 2 missing angles? Well, if it's an equilateral triangle and all sides are congruent, that means all angles are congruent. So if this is 60 degrees, that means this is 60 degrees and this is 60 degrees. If you want to make sure that you are right, which of course we do, we're going to make sure that our math works out right. 60 times 3 is 180, and we know that a triangle equals 180 degrees. Now if you look at the next one, we do not have an equilateral triangle, but we're still missing 2 angles. So how are we going to solve for 2 angles? Well, let's see what we have. I notice that I have a 90-degree angle. I have those little dashes again. Those dashes signify these lines are the same or congruent. If these 2 lines are the same, these 2 angles are going to be the same. So what do I know? I know a triangle needs to add up to 180 degrees. I have 90 degrees. That means I'm missing 90, but I have 2 angles. If I put 90 and 90, 90 times 3 is 280, that's too much. Sorry, 270, which is too much. I need 180. So because I have one answer but 2 spots open, I need to take my 90 and divide it by 2 because 2 angles are missing. So 2 goes into 9 4 times. That leaves us with 8. And 45 is my answer, which means 45 degrees and 45 degrees. That'd be 90 plus 90 is 180. And what kind of triangle is this? This is our right triangle. Okay, last one, what I notice, I have 2 angles already given to me. I have no lines, which tells me that none of my angles are the same. So that's going to be a scalene triangle. None of my angles are the same, they are all different. Again, I know that a triangle should add up to 180 degrees. So I'm going to take what I have, add them together, take what I need of 180, subtract what I have, and see what I still need. My answer is 70, which means this is a 70-degree angle. They are all different. They are all acute. So we could actually name this an acute scalene. If it had one obtuse angle, it'd be an obtuse scalene. Okay, number 7. We had one just like this today for warm-up in class. Rectangle PLAY. So rectangle PLAY, that's the whole rectangle on the outside, is divided into two congruent triangles. We're looking for the measure of PYL. So P, Y, and L is what we're looking for. So anytime that you have a rectangle, we could actually divide it in half, and you would have two triangles. So now they're only wanting us to focus on the triangle. So we're going to ignore that we started with a quadrilateral, because we know quadrilaterals equal 360. But if we're just looking at the triangle, P, Y, and L, that changes things a bit, because we know that a triangle needs to equal 180 degrees. Which makes sense, because 180 plus 180 is 360. They give us a little square over here, which means 90 degrees. They say that this angle is 26 degrees, so we are looking for this angle here. Same thing as before. We know what we need. We need to take what we have, add it up. So right now I have 116, but I need 180. So I'm going to subtract the 116. And my missing angle is 64 degrees. And that would be letter B. Okay, turn the page. Number 8, angle CAT, or that's triangle CAT, is an isosceles triangle. So let's stop there for a minute. We need to think about, I know the word isosceles. We've talked about it in class. An isosceles triangle, two sides, two angles are congruent, or the same. If the measure of angle T is 32 degrees, what's the measure of angle A? So we're looking for this angle. But you have to remember, just because we're looking for only this angle does not mean that we can't answer this one. We have 3 angles, we want to fill them all in. Remember, these marks mean that this side and this side is congruent, which means those angles are congruent. So I know that a triangle adds up to 180 degrees. I have 32, so let's start there. 180 is what I need. I have 32. I'm left with 148. But remember, I have 2 angles. I don't want to put 148, 148. That's going to be way above 180. So I'm missing 148, but I'm also missing 2 angles. So let's go ahead and divide those by 2. Can't go into 1, can go into 14. My answer is 74, which means this angle is 74 degrees, this answer is 74 degrees. If I add them all up, I end up with 180. So my one missing angle is 74. Okay, looking at number 9, it says which two streets appear to be parallel. Remember, parallel, never touch, never cross. So I'm looking at all my streets. The ones that don't cross anything are Smith Street and Jones Street. Number 10, the intersection of North Street and Smith Street. Remember, intersection is where they cross. So I'm looking at North Street. So here's North Street. And Smith Street. So here's Smith Street. The intersection where they cross is an acute angle that appears to be. Okay? So where they cross, here's north and south. So notice my angle is not acute, because acute would be less than 90 degrees. A right angle is exactly 90 degrees. Obtuse angle is greater than 90 degrees. So because we have a straight line intersecting with another straight line, it's not an acute angle, but it's a right angle. Okay, the intersection marked with a smiley face, so again, where they cross, marked with a smiley face is an angle that appears to be. So let's see where we're crossing. Intersection with the smiley face. So here's the smiley face, here's the intersection. Acute is less than 90. Right is exactly 90. And obtuse is greater than 90. Well, that angle kind of does that. So we are looking at obtuse. And going back to 10, I think this must be a mistake. It probably meant to say is an angle that appears to be just like number 11. Because that one does more of a right angle, where this one was obtuse. Okay, last one, number 12. A triangle has angles measuring 44 degrees and 100. So 100 we know is larger than 90, so I'm going to try to make a nice obtuse. So we've got, let's say this is 44 degrees, this is 100 degrees. Definitely not to scale, but got a picture anyway. We're looking for the measure of the third angle. Well, you have to think about, what do we know? We know it's a triangle that is equal to 180 degrees. They give us 100, they give us 44. We are looking for x, that missing angle, and we know it needs to total 180. So let's first total what we have. We have 144. Added together is 144. We know we need 180. So start with 180, subtract 144. And we are missing 36. So x equals 36, meaning our missing angle is 36. Our answer is C. So that's it for the first page of test review. We will have a second video for the second page of test review. Remember, test is Wednesday.